Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Scruffy City Beat. This is a new podcast from WBIR about Knoxville's music scene. My name is Jillian Taylor and I am a photographer here at the station, and I also have the privileged job of getting to do this podcast for the station. This is episode 10. Yay! We have 10 episodes now. I hope that this will continue to grow, continue to change, to become something that can really capture the beautiful music scene that we have here, because Knoxville has some freaking incredible music that I just want people to know about. This episode is a little bit different and was very fun to make. This is another audio experience. So if you've been watching this podcast, I did this a few episodes ago with a music festival, and I did something similar here. So I went to the Knoxville Broadcast that happened this past week on Friday and Saturday in World's Fair Park. It was a gathering of about 500 local musicians, all playing original pieces of music that were composed by a composer from New York named Lisa Bilawa. So I walked around with a mic and I filmed up close all of the different pieces going on, and then I stepped back and I filmed all of the combination of sounds. It was a really fun way to experience the festival, and Lisa was gracious enough to sit down with me to listen back to the audio that I captured. This interview that you're about to watch is kind of special to me because Lisa, she's from New York. She moved to Knoxville for 2.5 months to write these pieces. She biked around, met with all these groups, wrote these original pieces of music, every single one original. And she actually moved back to New York the day after the event. So I filmed the audio on Saturday. Sunday, she was moving. And so she was so gracious to fit me into her day. She's moving away from Knoxville actually after this episode. So you're going to watch us sitting down. We're kind of talking over the audio because she literally had like 30 minutes before she needed to pack up and walk out the door to move away from Knoxville. So this is a really, really special interview. She is such a brain. She is such a creative brain, and it was just a privilege to get to sit down with her and listen back to this audio. So please enjoy this funky episode of the Scruffy City Beat. There's a lot going on, so pay close attention. There's a lot of really, really interesting art happening in your ears. If you need to, close your eyes to take in all of the audio. Do it if you must, because there is just a lot of rich things happening in the audio of this one. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, welcome back to the Scruffy City Beat. Hi.
Hi, Jillian.
Lisa is the composer for the Knoxville Broadcast that happened this past weekend. And what we're going to do is we're going to do something kind of different today on this episode. We're going to listen back to an audio experience of it. So I went around with a microphone recording the whole thing, and then I trimmed it from the full experience was an hour, and I cut it to half of an hour. And we're going to listen back through right before you leave.
Okay.
You've lived here.
Yeah.
Tell me just for a second. You've lived here for 2.5 months, and you moving?
I pretty much lived here in this flat in the White Lily Flower Factory building for 2.5 months. Yeah.
And today's the day that you leave town.
Today's the day that I leave town.
So just after this,
yeah, exactly.
Lisa's packing up and moving away from Knoxville.
Yeah.
So let's call this one of the last things you do before you leave.
Absolutely.
Back to this.
Yeah.
So I'll hit play and tell me any stories that you'd like to, any background about some of the pieces as they're coming up. Okay. You're welcome to tell me. We'll just talk through the experience
fantastic.
here.
All right, I'm walking into the Knoxville Broadcast right now. It's just getting started.
Hope you enjoy.
Oh, yeah. So there's nobody that gives a downbeat at all. All of the groups have a professional leader embedded inside them, embedded in the group, and they're following an app called the Atomic Clock app.
Oh, wow.
So at exactly, was this the 11 o'clock?
Yes. No, this was the 2.
The 2 o'clock.
Yeah,
At
and
exactly,
I walked up
yeah.
at 2, and it started.
At exactly at 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
A few people in the crowd are starting to stand up. Sounds like some ensemble singing is happening. I'm going to walk through the front.
So here I was getting up close with the microphone and passing along the front.
Oh, that's great, yeah.
And this was when
And the guitars.
the noise started to pop out. This is so almost like dystopian, like walking along the front and the noise is transitioning.
Yeah.
Like the clashing happening was so interesting to hear. So interesting to hear.
Well, and it's really interesting here because in other cities where I've done broadcasts, we didn't have a covered amphitheater to start in. So that means it was open air and much less intense in terms of just volume, sheer volume than this. You know, it was very striking what hundreds of people sound like in there. It's amazing.
Moving towards the other side of the stage, older performance group. Knoxville Community Band.
Stepping forward now because what's happened is that L&N STEM Academy, which is one of the biggest groups, it's like 100 kids, have already left the stage. So the drummers step into the space where they were. It sort of gives the audience a sense that it's already expanding, physically, geographically expanding.
And do you recognize this group right here?
Yeah, this is the group. This is the Appalachian Equality Chorus. They're walking out front now, in front of the apron of the stage there.
And each pieces that we're hearing, you wrote.
Yeah, that's right.
Every one of them?
Yeah.
There's so much work in these 30 minutes.
This is great that you caught this. Because sometimes what I do is, this is fantastic. I give them things that they can choose from. Like you can do these notes and sing any words, like these words if you want, or you can, and at a certain point, they're allowed to yell or speak memories from their childhood. So this is all like a kind of a fever dream of like Knoxvillians' own memories of their childhoods. That's what they're singing. Yeah. And all the words that are being sung were submitted by Knoxville area residents in response to prompts that I gave them.
They just wrapped up their piece. There's some movement happening, so people are going off stage. It looks like the groups are constantly rotating, so there's a new set of groups on and in front of the stage than there were before.
This section coming up, I call for myself the trombone chorus, even though there's other instruments besides trombones, but it has this very sort of like stately.
Capturing this, hearing this through this microphone is really interesting because I can get really close from far away, all the sounds merge together. Up close, I can really hear the individual things happening, which is really interesting.
It's really great hearing you talk about, you're doing exactly what I want audience to do, which is to move.
I figured you wanted people to be getting up close.
Absolutely.
Like I almost stopped myself getting on stage, and I was like, no, I think the point is to go and hear the separate sounds.
Yeah, exactly.
So he just did some communication with people that are across the water from him. There's this little river that runs through the middle that the saxophone player was on one side of, and then there's a UT music group on the other side. And he just said something to him and grabbed his stand. Now he looks like he's running to go join them on the other side. So it looks like groups are joining together and splitting up. And I think there's some really specific timing going on here because the people are checking their watches a lot.
That's funny. Yeah, people kept doing this and then running and then.
Yeah.
I'm going to start to walk this circle to catch some of these.
The people doing that are likely the leaders. And they're looking not at the time just on their watch, but they're looking at the atomic clock app because they're that app has exact to the millisecond, aligned time.
Where I'm standing up on the hill, there's a group of young kids who all have stringed instruments, looks like mostly violins.
And that's actually the youngest kids. I divided them up into two groups, the littles and the older ones. So up on the hill was the little kids, the little violinists.
Oh, and they're singing, that's lovely.
Now this Come On Home Children. These are words that the UT Gospel Choir came up with on their own. Sean Turner came up with those words. I went to a rehearsal there and I thought, well, here's a melody that Abby Anderson and I
You hear that they said, "Bye, Sturkey, we're running." I'm going to follow this Sturkey string band and see what they're running to. Are you in the Sturkey string band?
Yeah.
Tell me your name.
Lou.
Lou. And what are you playing?
Fiddle.
You playing the fiddle? Are you a bluegrass player?
Old time.
Old
mostly.
time, okay.
But I played old time, bluegrass, Irish, and Old English
How long have you been playing fiddle?
since I was 8 years old.
What's the choreography that's going on that's making us move around a lot? Looks like people are checking their watches and moving at certain times.
Yeah, well, everybody's playing different things that fit together. So depending on where we are, whoever's near us hears what we're doing. So that's the reason for our moving around.
It seems like a lot of fun. It's very active.
Oh yeah, it is.
And when did you join the band and what made you decide to?
About a week and a half ago. We had one run through and then here we are.
Wow. Are you nervous at all to mess up?
You can't mess up because you're free to improvise a little bit. So as long as you're in the right key and you're playing something similar, you can get away with it.
Well, thanks for talking to me. I'll let you keep walking now.
Yeah, I often tell
Okay, so
tell
this
people,
Sturkey
look,
group is
it's
all
impossible to play this piece
wandering
right.
along the river
So it's
around the
also
circle.
impossible to play it wrong.
That's in the World's Fair Park near the amphitheater. And I'm walking down towards the water right now. It seems like all the groups are kind of slowly rotating around this big circle with the water in the middle. There's a word for this that I'm forgetting what it's called.
Now there's a drum battle going on. So I had the Found Forte, the Found Instrument group, the percussion group, and they were doing a dialogue with and that's the train.
The stage is actually empty now, which means all the groups are spread out around World's Fair Park. I'm looking over at the composer behind the project right now. She's sitting on the stairs by the water just looking out at everything happening. She's grinning, ear to ear grinning. Oh, she's taking a picture of something now. Oh, I've accidentally put myself behind the train group. So this group is playing chords from the train that goes through downtown Knoxville. The composer wrote down the chords, and this group has a cowbell, and they're just beeping out those chords as they walk around.
Over 2.5 months, every time the train came by my
What a lucky
apartment,
job
I
to
wrote
be the
down what
train.
chord was. Oh yeah. And then
Who's calling out
I
when
gave
the
all
chords
those
happen?
chords to that group and said, just walk around.
My bell, and that's the most obvious visual cue that we've come up with.
This is a section where they're one of 3 groups that are responding to a 4th group. So da 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 da. That's 3 of those. That means that the Knoxville Community Band plays now.
So what's happening is there's 3 different groups that are sort of communicating across this central body of water, which I still need to figure out the name for, and they're passing the play torch back and forth, like they're taking turns playing, and you can tell because they're all looking at each other and waiting for the other one to play when they're done. I think that it's one of the community bands, and then it's a group of UT music students, and then that looks like a high school group across the water. I'm walking up right now to a pretty big ensemble. Wow. Oh, the train is behind me. That's what.
it was behind me, and I was in the tunnel, and I was like, what is going on?
Yeah. I purposely put like choral groups for their most sort of luxurious choral sections. I purposely moved them underneath the overpass there so that they could benefit from the, underneath the Clinch Avenue overpass.
You're the STEM Academy, okay.
Right now we're in the middle of a move, and we're here, and then our next thing is he'll start playing notes, and we just reply back with a longer on here. Now he's going to kick into a different rhythm, and then we'll reply with him. It's really cool.
Who's he? This trombonist?
This is Dr. Van Duren from the University of Tennessee. He's the trombone professor.
Are they mimicking what he's playing?
Yeah, he sets it up, the first initial rhythm, and then we reply when he repeats it. That's on there. All the strings have this rumbling effect that's underneath it. Going back and forth on the strings is really nice.
Keep walking around. I'm behind the L&N STEM Academy right now, or the performers from the L&N STEM Academy. That's funny, one of them has the music taped to their back for their friend to play off of. Oh, they're moving again. Just to my right, over on the performance lawn, the drum group is playing, and some of them are also dancing.
So this is the section where every group is either a sneaker or a joiner or an interrupter. So the drum group was the sneakers. They sneak away and start a party. The joiners join them. And then what happens is when the party's going full force, the sneakers sneak away. And then the interrupters come and interrupt the big party.
What is it, 6 minutes until?
6 minutes into our first performance, we are doing the sneakers. We're coming, we'll play a rhythm, get all the people involved, and then we'll go to another spot and do the same thing all over again. And we're gonna do our first one in 6 minutes.
Oh, you have a timer on your, let me take a picture of that timer.
Yeah, we timing everything. All of the leaders got timers. I know my sheet already, so we done it 3 times, so I don't gotta look at my sheet now. So on our sheet, it got time stamps on when we do what. So now we're at the part where we gotta do all the do sections in the part, and all of the other groups will join us. And as we get the rhythm started, the community orchestra come and join us. And so now we got 2 of the community orchestras and us as well coming together and do it at 3 different stops in this big old field right here.
That's so much traveling around.
Yeah.
It's so much traveling.
It is.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm gonna keep walking here.
By the end of the piece, in Knoxville, there are only 2 parties. One of them is in the north, and that's the party in which Oba's group is the sneaker group. And then the south party, which is on the conference center, then is led by the sneakers up there are Evie Andrus's old time group. So what that means is even though there are hundreds of people out there, Oba and Evie are the ones who determine when the piece ends, single-handedly.
All right, so I've almost made a full lap around the circle. Hey, I saw you were photographing the protest and this.
Yeah. Tell me about something. Here's this photographer who I saw when I was passing by the protest. And then she was down at the broadcast as well.
Tell the story of what's happening. So for here, I've been trying to get people who have been dancing and people who are watching. Hang on, I got one back here. I got one of people watching and just lots of music shots and the happenings around that. And then at the protest, I was trying to, hang on, I've taken a lot of photos today. I've been trying to capture signs and the different interactions of people with each other.
This is a wild combo happening in this little downtown. Can you tell me about it?
I mean, with this, I see there's a lot of cacophony, which is, I know it's the point of this, but it's like I see the cacophony that's happening here and can be tied to the cacophony that's happening here in Knoxville and in the rest of the world with ICE raids and everything like that. Like the world is it's a very chaotic place right now, and I feel like the music right now is very much a representation. Even though I don't know exactly the story behind the piece that's being played, it does resonate with what's happening, to me at least.
It's a very similar demographic from the protest over here to the music.
I mean, if anything, if there's any disorder, it's the disorder of joy, right? But it's also interesting to hear, because some of the harmonies that I like are sort of poignant or have a kind of a yearning feeling in them. Like what you said, sort of dystopic or whatever. But really, if you think about it, everybody was smiling.
Yes.
So, like...
Well, it did kind of feel like the protest. Like there's all these different pockets of the protest of people chanting or dancing or interacting with the cars. And you zoom out and it's kind of like chaos. But then you get closer and there's like little pockets everywhere. And it sort of was how the broadcast felt.
Yeah. That's so cool. Yeah, yeah.
Sunglasses, and somebody just gave them back to me. I'm huffing it too hard. What did you just give me?
It's a symbolic flower.
What is it symbolic of?
Symbolic of spreading peace and harmony and joy and music.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
What group are you guys? What group are you guys?
We're the O'Connor Center Singing Seniors.
And what are you guys singing? What are the lyrics that you guys are singing?
We're singing about the mountains, asking questions about the mountains, asking them to tell us their story.
Can you read me some of the lyrics?
How many people fell in love in these mountains? What message do you hear in the wind that blows across your peaks? What are your secrets? What do you whisper to travelers? Tell us your story, tell us your story. How old are you? Why is man so foolish? Do you still hear the voices of chestnuts and hemlock?
Where did these lyrics come from?
Where did they come from?
Yeah.
People contributed words to Lisa, and she gathered them up together and put them into word groupings for the singing.
That's beautiful. Are you guys done singing now?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a final performance that's about to happen? It looks like some kind of gathering.
They're gathering in this field, and it's a big finale.
Okay, let's get over there. I want to
hear that.
I want to hear that. Yes. Yeah. Thanks for coming out here and singing. It's been beautiful so far.
Well, it's mostly chanting. We're mostly chanting thoughts. I mean, we had our option to put in our own words if we wanted. Nobody could tell because it was one big conflagration.
I know from far away things are kind of mixed together in the sound. I actually can kind of hear the distinguished sounds, which is really cool. How do you feel as a performer knowing that people can only really hear the big mass of sound?
It's a unique experience. I've not been in something like this before, and I'm in my 80s and been singing since I was first grade.
Oh, that's great.
And I'm disabled, so I was glad I could participate with this. Yeah,
that's lovely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we really wanted to. I mean, every time I do this project, I want to make sure that there are no barriers to access.
So that was a little trio I walked past as I'm headed to the main stage. Their sheet said that they're the UT Gospel Choir. Are you guys part of this big finale?
No.
In spirit. In spirit. You guys want to go listen to it with me? Okay, so we're walking up to a big gathering of all the musicians. It looks like something's about to happen. It's definitely an anticipation atmosphere. I hear a little bit of noodling, a little solo performance mixed in here. Okay, so there's some sprinting happening. People are running into place for this finale. So there's a high school group that looks like the L&N group are running across the lawn to get in place. So something's about to happen.
Daniel, what's about to happen right now? People are running towards something.
We're gonna play.
Oh. Yeah? What are you going towards?
Yeah, you're gonna play. Yeah, that's great. Oh, that's sweet though. I mean, he was running to join. He didn't want to miss it.
So a lot of groups are gathered in one space right now, starting to play together. I'm going to walk around so you can hear the individual sounds.
So they all join in, and they have different materials that they can sing.
It's the Roane County group.
A lot of them are singing "My voice is," and then there's a blank. My voice is powerful. My voice is, yearning to be heard. My voice is, and those are also all the prompts I use to get the text.
What happened to your strings? What happened to your strings?
They broke. I need more rosin on my bow. It's not good for it, but it's oh well.
A bunch of his strings on his bow are broken.
And at the time, I was like, wow, you must have just been playing for a long time. I think it's because they were playing so hard to overcome the drum sounds. They were like,
you were digging in so much, yeah.
Is this the big finale?
Yeah.
Tell me about, from far away, all the noise blends together, and it's not until you get up close that you can hear it. Just tell me about that experience.
Oh, it's beautiful. So it's all the groups are here playing all different things on there, which is great because it's groups that never get to play together, and we've all been brought together here at World's Fair Park to play, and especially end together with this big party of music and just musicianship and community. So it's amazing. So it's great. I love it.
Is this a unique experience for you as a band director?
Yeah, I have never done anything like this, and I know talking with a lot of people here is just like this is something new for us, and I'm glad that we got to experience it. So yeah.
It seems like such an experiment.
Oh yeah.
Do you think the experiment worked?
Oh yeah, for us definitely on there, and hopefully for everybody who's shown up and just walked through and heard this happen and experienced the broadcast. It's been an amazing thing. Yeah, definitely.
Is this at all mind blowing for you in just the way that music can be performed?
Oh yeah. I mean we've definitely been stuck with our being in high school or our education kind of situation, and this has just opened up hopefully a lot of doors and minds of what music can be and how to experience music. It's a moving, living, breathing thing that every time we've done this is different, and you have to interact with the spaces and the people and the time and how hot it is or how cold it is, and it's just been an amazing thing. It's definitely opened up my eyes, and I know my students and the community's eyes out here. They've really enjoyed this.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, there's some really gifted educators in the Knox County schools. Danny Stone and Tiffany Kimbrough, Preston Davis. These guys are just, it's incredible what they do with their students every single day, Really tremendous. And Obayana too.
and I don't know what kind of relationships could happen now that continue these crossover music.
Well, I heard a beautiful story last night from Cecilia Stair. I hope that she's okay with my telling this. It's kind of great. There's apparently a knitting group at the O'Connor Senior Center. And apparently somebody was saying, I noticed that the Hardin Valley Academy guitars, they don't have very good guitar straps. So I think our knitting group is going to be just like the sweetest thing ever.
Oh my God, that's perfect. That's like exactly what you want from this.
New relationships sparked. It's very, very sweet. Yeah, it's very sweet.
That's what it sounds like when you're...
So there were two parties. I didn't even know there was another one. I just followed where the drums went.
Saw all those hundreds of people. That was only half the people. The other half of the people were up on the conference center and and they had the same instructions, but it completely different. The party ended at a completely different time. The rhythms you heard were totally different, like completely different vibe. So cool. I had no idea. Completely different vibe. Really cool. Yeah.
This together to make a cacophonous kind of noise. You can mostly hear drums simply because that's the loudest instrument. Nothing is being pushed through speakers. Everything is what you would call acoustic, maybe analog acoustic, and the drums are definitely the loudest, so they're standing out the most. But it's everyone can just walk around to listen to it. You're not seated far away, so you can get up close to some of these stringed instruments to hear them, which is also also, I think, part of the listening experience is that where you place yourself changes what you're listening to. So this dance group, this drums and dancing group is performing with just one single cellist. No, I'm going to say that's either an upright bass or a cello. I sometimes am bad at distinguishing. Musicians, please don't get mad at me. There's just one single person in all black, so he looks like he's probably a symphony player, who's up front communicating with the drum group. Okay, I'm going to film kind of the communication happening between the upright bass and the drums right now. Bass player is just sawing on this bass, trying to compete with the acoustic sound of those drums. So the drums are so good at amplifying, and that bass is a lot quieter. I have to really get close to it to hear it. And he is just elbow greasing his way on that bass, trying to make as much noise as possible.
Thank you very much. We did it.
We did it. That's great.
Great job, everybody. Wrap, baby.
You look pretty excited. What did you think of it?
Oh, I thought it was great. Didn't know what to expect. But, man, takes you on a big walk. Okay.
Have you been to Big Ears before?
Oh, yeah. Since the first one, 2009.
Is this in line with the creativity and experiment you usually see?
It is. And it's really so great to see all the schools and all the kids, young people and the old people come out together and contribute to this. I can't imagine being the composer and composing something like this. So I'm glad you were here to get it. I'm glad it's a good experience for you.
Well, it does make your brain hurt. I mean, it makes my brain hurt in the best possible way, but so I'm mentally tired, from putting it together, but the payoff is unbelievable.
Beautiful. It was a really cool experience. People were across the board pretty mind blown by it.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
I thought it was, the site is perfect, absolutely perfect. And you saw me sitting out there, you look so happy. I was blissed out. Yes, you look blissed out. Yeah, I was totally blissed out. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry you have to leave.
I know.
Knoxville, because we have a pretty perfect little town.
It's pretty great. Yeah, no, I've had a wonderful time here. I'm so glad I was staying right here, right by the trains, because now those trains, and something interesting, because this piece does have it takes material from every experience, every city, right? There's musical material in every broadcast that is sort of cumulative, right? Mm-hmm. So those chords, those notes that you heard at the very beginning of the piece when we were talking, on the stage there, those long notes, those were the foghorns in the San Francisco Bay, because when I did it there, those pitches ended up in the... Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, so now the foghorns of San Francisco and the trains of Knoxville are now in the piece. Forever. And I won't take them out. Yeah, wow. They're in there now forever.
Where's your next broadcast?
I can't say yet, but you'll be one of the first to know. But there are actually a couple of them in the works over the next year or so. This was your fourth? This was the fourth big one. There are other broadcasts that are on a smaller scale, meaning there was one that was only choral, there was one that was for 100 clarinets. There are sort of smaller scale broadcast model things, but these full on kind of, citywide broadcasts, this is the fourth one. There was Berlin, San Francisco, Louisville, and now Knoxville. Yeah.
It's an incredible concept to see. Yeah. If somebody told me that there's going to be a citywide, intergenerational performance in the lawn that's open air, I would be like, well, okay, maybe there's 3 bands out. No, it was
they're actually, the whole city. It's one piece of music that's been composed for and with the entire city.
I'm not sure if I've ever seen an entire city music performance, or will see one again in Knoxville. That's pretty unique.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I love this project. It's one of the my proudest things I've been able to do. I'm so grateful to Big Ears. I'll tell you, for bringing me here. I really am. It's a perfect match. It's a perfect match.
Yes, it is. Big Ears is incredible. They, I think, are just doing incredible work in music, really revolutionary work.
Well, and what's really cool is, you know, the festival every year brings these acts from all over the world, all the country, all over the world, to the audiences here. But this didn't bring anybody except me. This is all celebrating the musical life and the vitality of these people, you know, like these people who go in middle school band every single day. Old-time players who've been playing since they were, whatever he said, in the first grade, you know, 8 years old or whatever. I think it's just, there's something really special about the partnership between, you know, with Big Ears turning its attentions to its own sort of organic music community, and bringing me here, you know, having done this in other cities, you know, to sort of learn so much from the kinds of, you know, from the music making here. It's really, I feel really enriched by it all. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you for doing it. And I'm sorry you're leaving.
I know. Well, I'll be back. I'm sure I'll be back. These relationships last, you know.
Yeah. Okay, thank you everyone for listening. That was an interview with Lisa Bilawa, the composer of the Knoxville Broadcast. Now, as per usual, in this outro, we're going to be looking at some of the things happening this weekend. And Jared joins us from a different spot today. Jared is in studio at the Weather Wall to tell us what's hot this weekend.
Things are looking actually pretty temperate. We're here at a weather wall. It's a big green wall. Knoxville, it's going to be pretty nice, but it's going to get a little hot right in here with the 3rd annual Cattywampus Fall Ball. It's their annual fundraiser. They make the big puppets. There's going to be a lot of music, food. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then on Sunday, right over here at Hay Bear Cafe, they're doing their Afterlife Party, which is a bunch of indie rock bands from 3 to 10. It's about $8. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot going on. It's going to be really nice. Back to you.
Thank you, Jared, for that look ahead at the weekend. That indie rock show sounds really interesting to me. That scene is very cool, very hip. If you want to increase your coolness points, just got to go to a show and it'll increase them. Thank you for listening. This project is ever changing. The Scruffy City Beat is changing every time I do it and getting hopefully better and better. I'm really excited for this next phase of the project that's going to be coming up in the next month or two. The podcast studio the WBR is building is really close to completion, and once we're in there, I'm really looking forward to doing some feature storytelling where we can be pulling up pictures and video and audio and really unpacking some of the incredible stories that have come out of Knoxville. Knoxville just has a really rich art scene, particularly in music. We are the crossroads for so many genres. We are the cradle of country music, where country music was born and rocked as a babe. There is so much to learn about Knoxville. And if you're in town and you are looking for community, if you're looking for magical experiences, I would argue that music is the way to do it. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you next week with another story. Until then, I'm just a girl sitting behind a microphone, begging you to get out and see a live music show.